We'll do it.
It's another Ali day.
Hey. Oh, hey, guys. Oh, hey.
Happy Super Goal Sunday.
On a Super Bowl Sunday. That was so dope. We're so cool.
How you doing today?
I'm doing supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
No, don't correct me.
But
I want
you
to
didn't
say it my
right.
way. I said it my way.
But I don't want to put you into the world. You say things wrong.
No, there is no wrong or right way to say things.
It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Yes,
No.
it is.
That's the world's way of saying it. But my way of saying it, the cool way of saying it,
Say it again.
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
He sounds like a kid. That is so
It doesn't matter.
broad.
That's the problem in America. People are taught what to think opposed to how to think.
The world.
Don't make me
the
get-
world didn't say it. Mary Poppins did.
I don't care who said it.
You need to respect Mary
No,
Poppins.
I don't respect her. And this is Felicia's way.
You didn't even start saying that word till I started saying it.
And I put a spin on it. Okay, guys, here it goes. We had a little situation that came up that made the conversation, that birthed the conversation, which you'll see in a later vlog this week. But anyway, we got to talking and we decided that we would talk to you guys today about hurt, because so many of us are traumatized in our childhoods and we carry that stuff through our lives, and unfortunately it drops right in the lap of our spouses or significant others. So you brought up the conversation that we come from hurt. So what are some of the ways that your childhood hurt could hurt your marriage?
Well, I think one way is, let's say a common one, right? You have an absent parent, or not even that. Maybe you have a parent who's in and out of your life. So then you grow up being attracted to a person who's in and out of your life too. An absent lover, or maybe you have a parent who's too involved in your life, and so you put that role on your partner to, in a sense, become your parent. Those are two that pop out to me. And so one thing I think that was a concern, is a concern for me as a father, and us as a marriage unit, is whatever unresolved issues or demons, if you will, that we bring from our past, how would that affect our children?
I guess that sometimes stories are the best ways to communicate and to kind of shape a conversation. So I'm searching my mind for an example of something in my childhood that isn't so typical, because I mean we all had those typical, and the only thing that I can think of is my grandmother was so, like, she was such a wonderful woman, and she was so key to my life when I was growing up. And I remember she had gotten breast cancer, and it was in the middle of my grandfather's transitioning from having died. He was suffering from kidney, I don't know, I was young. But anyway, he died. My grandfather had died in 1991, and I was like 10. And my grandmother had started to, her health really just started deteriorating. Like, my mom moved her in, and she was living with us. And like watching her slowly go was very difficult for me. And then she died in 1993, but I remember in between 91 and 93, I remember just praying, Lord, just please, just let my grandmother live until I'm 16. For an 11-year-old girl, that's like, what are you praying about?
Right.
But that was something that really meant a lot to me, that she would get to, see me turn sweet 16, but she didn't. And then my mom was with this guy who I love so much, who I still refer to as my stepfather, Stinky. And he was just great. He was like everything. Like, he was just great. He was just like everything that my father wasn't.
Right.
And they broke up. And we still, he stayed in contact with me, but it's not quite the same, And then on, and then the list goes on and on and on and on. You know, Miss Winneck, my teacher, and it was just so like there was this pattern of everyone I love, I lose.
Right.
And so I got so comfortable with losing people that I started kind of pushing people away. Mm-hmm. And so it affected the way my friendships. I remember in particular, my best friend at the time was moving to New York City. And she called me up and she said, you know, my husband and I were going to make this leap. We're going to move to New York City. And I was like, great. Right. But I wasn't really happy for her. But I wasn't not happy for her. I was just not happy that I was losing someone again. And she was like, at that time in my life, she was like the most consistent person.
Right.
And so I just stopped calling her. And so like she moved away. She had been calling me and trying to reach out to me. And I was just not open because I knew that she was leaving. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to say goodbye. And I didn't want to go through that. And so like a month or two before she left, I just distanced myself from her. And I know that I did similar things to you. When we first started dating, I was very difficult as a girlfriend, and I just was constantly waiting for Sharif to leave. And so the more he would stay, the more I would push. And thankfully, you pressed through that. But I know that in our marriage, you still deal with issues. Like, I'm not totally over it yet. Like, he's still here. But there are still moments where I'll be like, go, you know, I know you want to go. Or like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop constantly. Right. And it's just because people are never kind of there for me. You know, I've had friendships, I've tumultuous relationships or what have you that really just haven't lasted as long as I thought relationships should. So that's something that's an example from my life that, you know, I'm constantly like waiting for people to leave. And so when people stay, I'm kind of shocked and waiting, you know, almost planning for their exit.
Right. So on my end, my story would be where Felicia expected folks who were relevant in her life or important to leave at some point. Mine was I was so used to people being in my life while simultaneously though being treated as the golden child. So it would be a revolving door of folks living upstairs from where I live. My house was the open house. Everybody in my family seemed like lived in my house at some point in their lives. At the same time, my mother and other family members would treat me so golden that I didn't put as much of an investment in the relationships with my family.
With relationships in general. In
general, yeah. So I didn't appreciate those around me, right? Which, fast forward until my adult life, I'm married, and I don't put as much appreciation into Felicia and showing gratitude for the way that she loves me, the way that she likes me, how she accepts me. There would be days that I would think about, oh, my babe, she cooked a meal that I said I wanted last night and she was dog tired. And I would eat it and not feel appreciation and gratitude for that in that moment. It's because I was used to things being done for me. So that's where my baggage or my trash or my demons, they come into play in the marriage. And so I think that the best thing that we can do as a unit is to always stay aware of that. Because at the end of the day, when your back is against the wall, you're always going to revert back, or you're going to default to who you are.
Right, what's comfortable, right?
Right. You can chase a squirrel all day around the house and it'll run, but as soon as you back it up in the corner, it's going to attack you. A small squirrel, you know? So it's like that would be the same thing for us. We'll go back to our natural element. What we were born with, what was instilled in us as children. So I think as long as we stay aware about that, but bottom line, we always go back to our element.
There are many different situations that come up in our lives against us. And it takes a special person to look deeper. Right. And it takes attention to detail to examine why your partner may or may not be acting a certain way. for instance, we had a situation with this week, which you'll see later on in the vlog, where pretty much our son had a little kid issue. And for me, it was a big deal because I was ostracized in my family as a little girl all the time. I was always ostracized by every single person. And I never want my son to feel ostracized. I come from a huge family on both ends, and I live my life as though I have no cousins, as though I have no one. And it's because when I was growing up, my mother was ostracized, and so she then took us away, and she talked to us constantly about, I don't want you to feel bad about yourself, so I don't let you go around with certain people, and I'm not going to let anybody make my kids feel bad. And it grew in me. And when I was a child and my mother was saying those things, I really didn't understand what she meant. But as I became a woman and I saw, I had conversations with other women, and now I'm a mother and I have children, I get it. You don't want anyone to make anyone, not another 4-year-old, not a 20-year-old, not a grandma, no one. You don't want anyone to make your children feel away. So Sharif and I say something, and then I'm later talking to my husband. I'm like, do you think I was too aggressive? Do you think I was this and that? But what it really, and he's like, why are you? We talked about it, and he's like, why are you still festering on this? And the reason was because I thought about how I felt. And I was trapped in little Felicia land, where I was the cousin who was locked in the closet, where I was the cousin who no one wanted to play with. I was the cousin who, thought I was better than. I didn't think I was better than. I didn't have any sisters or brothers. You know what I mean? And I didn't play with my cousins. So it was difficult. Social interactions were very difficult for me. And so as now that I'm a wife and a mother, and I'm trying to build with him, and it's so much about you that I admire in the way that you deal with people, and the way that you remain yourself in tumultuous times and in difficult situations. And I thought that I wanted our children to be more like my husband, but now I'm learning that my little kid issues, little Felicia issues, are preventing me from appreciating what it is that I initially appreciated about you.
Right. I get that. And also that would be the same for me as well with you, because what I appreciate about you is that you have this massive heart, right? That you just understand people in a way that I wouldn't, and that I don't. So that's why I think, that God definitely made me a whole person when he gave me you, because you're like the pulse, you're like the heart to my mind, right? Because I can just go throughout life and not even consider my mother, anybody, and so you helped me with that. But what I'm saying is, what I failed to appreciate about you, or that I forgot that I appreciated, was your heart, and that your heart is so massive, and that you think things through and you consider people. So when I get into my mode of, well, I expect things to be done for me type, right? And you just fit the bill right there, like you enable it, you just give and give. I don't appreciate you for that. And also, when you feel things like how you festered over what happened with Sharif, I forget, that's the part of you that it's not really festering. You're a passionate person, and not just passionate, but you also think things through. So you're thinking about what just happened to my son and how is this going to affect him in his life. And yes, little Felicia, she rose up, but also you were thinking as a mom too. So,
but you understand that, and that's the point
of
this.
Yeah.
And so, although you're saying, you're sometimes not showing your appreciation for me, I receive your gratitude in other ways, because I feel like no matter what, you get me. Right. So when I had that moment, you didn't have an intense reaction to me.
Right.
You were cool, you were calm, and you were trying to see what it is that I was experiencing.
Right.
And you kept asking questions that were probing me, which got me to the point where I was like, okay, this is what I'm feeling.
Right.
And so I think that's what the point in this video is. We have these childhood issues.
Yeah.
And they they carry over into our adulthood. When they carry over into our marriage, it's important for us to stop, to be able to freeze time and go, what's happening here with my partner, and why is this happening? What is it about? Because his lack of reaction was, I could have gotten upset with him and lashed out on him, but his lack of response made me say to him, hey, dude, you were the cousin that everybody loved. You were the cousin who everyone lived at your house. So everyone had to treat you a way, regardless of what anybody might say today. When you live in someone's house, you have to behave a certain way. Okay? You can't lock him in a closet. And so because he has not had this negative experience with being ostracized in his family, in his church, in his community, you had positive experiences. And he's not understanding why this is so hurtful to me, why I feel like my child's life is over. Like I was turned up, okay, about my child. And my kid didn't even seem bothered. Well, he did, his shoulders did slump over, but he wasn't massively bothered. But I'm thinking in the long run, if this continues to happen to my child, what is he going to be like? And he's just like, it wasn't nice, but the universe isn't crumbling. And so that's the point. Like, you have to, both of you have to be aware of what the other one, where the response is deriving.
Somebody on Facebook, when we both posted the same picture, but then they came onto my stat and said something along the lines of, wow, your picture is so beautiful, what's the secret sauce, right? Or something like that.
I got the sauce. I couldn't resist.
And I said to her simply, we like each other, we understand one another. And I think that's been our recipe.
Yeah.
And although that's our recipe, and we believe that, you shouldn't adopt what we do in our marriage because you guys have your own thing, but there's just certain principles that stand, that if you practice those principles, you'll win every time. So we think that, first, I like Felicia. She likes me.
I do.
And more than that, we understand one another. So when there are those times that we may have moments that, do I like you? I understand her, and she understands me. And we think that you also, with your spouse, need to understand your spouse. The only reason why I could have reacted or responded to her the way that I did, that which I didn't know I helped, is because I understand you. And that's the same thing in turn for you with me. What you also need to understand is who you are. Because if you forget who you are or where you came from, then things get sketchy, And so then I start to look at you like, well, I can't believe you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not even taking into consideration what my past hurts were, because I wasn't aware. That's just the point from where I think that liking and understanding your partner is a definite, you need that.
It's essential.
It is essential, yeah.
So, guys, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you are not subscribed. If you're just watching, if you just happen to stumble across All Day with the Alis and you've liked this video today, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Actually like the video.
Yes.
But keep in mind that we're here and we're being as transparent as we possibly can, because we understand no one went before us and gave us an instruction guide to how to be married. And although this isn't an instruction guide, it is definitely we put our lives on a platform, a public platform, so that hopefully maybe someone can see themselves in one of the stories that we tell or one of the examples that we share, and they're able to go, I need to fix that, or I need to work on that so that my relationship will be better.
Yes, and also to extend the conversation here,
definitely
make sure that you drop comments below. And also, Felicia and I have our other channels. Felicia, what's your channel name? It's just Felicia C. Ali?
It's Sexology.
Okay, because I didn't know if you changed that.
Oh, I did. It's Felicia C. Ali, but it's Sexology.
Okay,
but it's Felicia C. Ali.
Yes. Yeah. So Sexology, or
SEXALI-G.
But we think on YouTube you type in Felicia C.
Felicia
Ali.
C. Ali.
And yeah, so do that. And then also on my end, you can type in Mr. Aim for I am, which those two links are right down here in the description. Excuse me, on the video below. And that's just to extend the conversation from what we do here. You guys can get more of a holistic view about this conversation on our separate channels as well.
And feel free to inbox me if you guys aren't comfortable commenting below, because it does take a certain amount of heart to comment below.
It does.
So if you guys want to inbox me and extend the conversation, or if you have questions on how I deal with some of the things that I deal with, I'm a stay-at-home mama inbox me, hit me up, Facebook, Felicia C. Ali. If I don't have any mutual friends with you and you request me, it's shady. So shoot me a message first. Let me know who you are. Show me a couple pictures. Let me know that you're legit, because I will not accept you.